Now, back to Miller on Sports, the show where everyone feels like rushing the field. Everything else is just talk. Brought to you by the law offices of Ron Scholes.
It's Mike Hollis, former Jaguars kicker, joining us in studio once again. You can find out more about his kicking academy, proformkicking.com, and we'll talk a little bit more about his liquid energy supplement that he is a part of with other NFL players and people that are still attached with the NFL. Mike, I've got a question though. If Dancing with the Stars comes to you, do you accept and say, yes, I want to be one of the dancers?
Well, of course, and I think
yes, really?
well, I mean, I'm not a great dancer, but if I could dance with Hope Solo, I'd be cool. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Shout out Hope Solo if you're listening. Mike Hollis is ready for you. What would be your pick? Maybe the waltz, maybe the tango. Do you have a selection? You don't have a preference?
I'm probably horrible at all of them. I don't really care.
I'm sure in the locker room playing with the Jags, you never got these questions about Dancing with the Stars. So.
No.
No. Mike Hollis joining us in studio. And Mike, we made some reference to it earlier, and I feel like it's been the biggest sticking point so far of this NFL season, has been the movement of the new kickoff place to the 35. We've seen so many touchbacks. As a former kicker, are you a fan of this?
Well, yeah, as a former retired kicker, I could probably come out of retirement and still kick off because they're going to give me 5 more yards. But all kidding aside, really, it's a rule, of course, where they're trying to decrease the amount of concussions and the aggressiveness on a kickoff. But years ago, and I guess in '95, I think maybe in '94, I can't remember when it was, but they moved us back from the 35 to the 30 and dropped the tee down to 1 inch, which made a huge difference in the amount of returns, which they wanted. They wanted more action on the kickoff, and now they're actually going back and saying, well, we want less action because of the concussion. So they moved us up to the 35. The other part, which I don't understand, is the cover guys, the other 10 guys on the field on the kickoff coverage cannot line up 5 yards or more than 5 yards behind the ball. Mm-hmm. That makes no sense to me at all. Concussions are 50, 40 yards down the field. Those guys are going full speed in 10 yards.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that doesn't make any sense to me at all.
And it also seems like football is just a collision sport anyway. They are trying to make these safety measures, but it seems somewhat a little outrageous. I think they will change it, not by this season, but probably next year. It just seems something logical. And during your playing days, was that something in the locker room where guys would say, oh man, I got my bell rung, or I'm getting some cobwebs? Was there ever really talk of concussions, or was it more of, oh man, I'm not feeling too well, I'm kind of a little dizzy?
Well, anytime a guy gets dinged like that in a game, the trainers are real good at watching over them and making sure they're in, for whatever treatment they might need. But they do have the doctors really do a good examination on them, make sure that they're healthy. And I got to commend the physician staff and the training staff on all the NFL teams, because they do watch out for that as well. However, in team meeting rooms and special teams meetings we have, if somebody gets knocked out, even the special teams coach will rewind the video to see it again and over again, and guys will ooh and ah and all that. So it is fun, but in all seriousness, it is dangerous. So
and Mike, so many times I've been asked during training camp, you see the special teams guys, usually the kicker and the long snapper and the punter, all kind of off to the side, all kind of doing their thing, maybe a little powwow or something. And so many fans always ask me, what are they doing over there? Are they talking about what's on TV tonight? Or are they talking about music? You did that for many years. What is that little group doing on that practice field together?
Well, all of the above, really.
But however, the guys that are in practice, the rest of the team, in other words, they're running constantly during practice, so they're getting their conditioning. And plus, as a team, there are days when we condition as a team after practice and things like that. But what a lot of people don't realize or pay much attention to is the kickers. We try to be athletes too. Now there are guys out there, kickers, punters, snappers, that don't do much physical activity after their required stuff during practice. But I've always, and Brian Barker is a great a person who kind of took me under his wing and kind of showed me really what it's like. And my first year in the NFL, I kind of neglected to work out as much as Brian did. I kind of, maybe once or twice during the week, I do some extra running, but Brian did it like 4 times the week. He came in on Tuesdays on his day off to do conditioning. So, and I paid for it at the end of the season. The seasons are long, 17 weeks plus preseason plus postseason, whatever it might be. The seasons are long. You need to be conditioned, even as kickers. So we do run, we do condition, we do some things, but we also do a little a bit of teasing and kind of MacGyvering some horns on some carts that drive away the video guys. I always love that. Just some practical jokes, things like that.
Right. Do you feel like you could maybe attribute that lack of conditioning early on in your first few seasons to the 4 back injuries?
Possibly, but a lot of the stuff that I used to do, in the weight room and things like that, heavy squats and power cleans, and I know I've thrown my back at them a number of times. Plus, you add in the whole, the torquing of the lower back as a kicker, and I've had a history of a bad back anyway. So with kicking, it just it magnified the whole process of my problems.
Oh, we're joined by Mike Hollis, former Jacksonville Jaguars kicker, right here in studio on Miller on Sports. And let's talk a little bit more about the energy supplement, XE7 Liquid Energy Supplement. There is a link on your website, proformkicking.com. You were telling me a little earlier, Mike Vick has a little connection to this.
Yeah, one of the guys that was involved in De Novo 7 early on was a guy by the name of Eugene Chung, who was here in Jacksonville years ago. And he is the strength coach. Well, he was listed as strength coach, but I think he's listed as, he might be listed now as the assistant offensive line coach with the Philadelphia Eagles. Well, he's had this product, XE7, in the Eagles locker room the entire year last year, and Michael Vick was a big fan of it, and apparently he was taking it on a daily basis, and game days he wouldn't. He told Eugene that he wouldn't play without it.
And denovo7.com is the website. Is that the easiest way for people to obtain this?
Yeah, you can get information on denovo7.com. Absolutely.
Excellent. I look forward to trying it a little bit after the show. Give me that little extra boost. Maybe before Gay Culverhouse comes on in about 10 minutes or so. And also, Mike, I wanted to ask you, because kicking it seems like it's sometimes easier. At least when you played, you made it seem so easy. You only missed 3 extra points in your career. I won't point out those exactly, but I'm sure you remember those. What goes into everything about an extra point? Because so many people tell me it's an extra point, it should be guaranteed 100%, but on those misses, what's usually the reason why you miss?
Well, first and foremost, I think that if you take them for granted, if you assume that you're gonna make them, I think that you can catch yourself off guard. That was the very first miss that I had, and actually is in Cleveland in the old stadium my first year. I think I was giving Brian Barker the spot, and he didn't see it, and I kind of smiling and joking to him on the field there. Oh, it's right there, and kind of pointing, hey, right there, whatever, because I kind of like, it's no 20-yard field goal, it's no big deal. And of course, I hit the left upright and miss it. So your mentality, you've got to be in the same mentality on every kick and treat it as if it's a decent field goal. Don't take them for granted.
And I know you deal with kickers or up-and-coming kickers all the time, and I know you can't divulge everything, but give our listeners a little secret or so about kicking and how you did so well over the years.
Well, I'm very passionate about it, so how much time do we have?
Well, we're actually running short on time, so the quicker the better, Mike.
Okay, well, in a nutshell, with me, with my body style, I'm 5'7" now with all my back surgeries, but about 5'7", 5'8", 180 pounds. I'm not supposed to kick the ball very far. Not as far as Sebastian Janikowski, of course. He's a big, freakishly athletic guy. So I need to use 100% of my body to kick the ball. I can't just be a leg kicker. So we teach that. We teach guys how to be more fluid. And you guys were mentioning how I made it look easy. Well, that's because I didn't swing hard. You can imagine golfers, most of the professionals, they don't swing real hard and yet the ball goes a mile. Mm-hmm. That's exactly the same concept. You want to use the entire 100% of you into the kick to make it go straight, and that's what we do.
Awesome. Mike Hollis, former Jaguars kicker, a former Pro Bowl kicker, joining us in studio. Mike, you're always welcome back here anytime you'd like, and thank you for all the great memories as a Jacksonville Jaguar.
Well, thank you. I'll just do my job.
All right. Mike Hollis, check him out. Facebook, it's Mike Hollis's Proform Kicking Academy, also proformkicking.com, and the supplement drink. You've got XE7 Liquid Energy Supplement, the website. To learn more, you can go to denovo7.com. That's DENOVO 7.com. Coming up, we've got Gay Culverhouse, former president of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. She will join us. She founded just a few years ago the Gay Culverhouse Players Outreach Program. So we'll be talking about concussions, head injuries, and prevention. She's been covered by the New York Times, ESPN, even PBS. This should be a fun one. Thanks again to Mike Hollis for joining us this afternoon, right here on Miller on Sports, always on Talk Radio 600 WBOB, and you can always listen live at 600 WBOB.com.